The next question is more, it revolves around the theme of this book. It's a long question. What is the most important task in this battle for Sanskrit? That is, where should the focus be? In knowing the other side and giving a response or critique, or spreading Sanskritam and knowledge of scriptures so that more and more are aware of it and don't rely on the other side, which then does not get traction, that is, expanding that in the insider base. There are many that agree that there is a need to counter this narrative, etc., but they have differences on the approach, manner, and other details that go in. How do you plan to handle this? Should all this be based on a common minimum agreeable framework where other differences can coexist?
Okay, I think I understand the question. So, if you want to plant a garden, you have to do both positive things and negative things. It's not enough to just do positive things like plant some roses without pulling out the weeds. You know, it's fun to say, we have roses plant kar denge, we plant all these nice roses, but it's the dirty work of pulling out the weeds and getting rid of them is I don't want to do. Your garden won't survive. You have to plant the positive, but you have to zap the negative. So, taking on, criticizing, attacking the negatives is like pulling out the weeds. Teaching Sanskrit, positive ideas, having bhajans, having yagnas is the positive. So, one is not enough without the other. If you just pull out weeds and keep attacking them, you have to plant new roses also. So, Sanskrit Bharati as an organization doing good positive things is very necessary, very necessary. And then somebody who is taking on the negatives and those who are attacking us and take them back, give them responses, he is the one who is pulling out the weeds. He is also very necessary. To be healthy, you need good nutrition and good diet, but if the cancer has gone into many organs already, if there are diseases that have gone into many places already in the body, you have to take those steps to get rid of them. Just eating vitamins won't necessarily cure the cancer. You see, after it's gone beyond a certain stage. Maybe we could have prevented it if these things never happened. But the disease is in a very advanced stage, I would submit to you. So, I would say that while good organizations doing positive things are necessary, you also need the tough Kshatriya types who are going and fighting this. So, you need both, it's not either or. And they have to work together. They should not be arrogant and say, who are you? I know more about this. I know more about flowers. Why are you coming and pulling out the weeds? The point is, the guy planting flowers does not know what is a weed. He doesn't even know how to recognize. He doesn't know which weed has to be killed in what way, because they're not all the same kind. You see, there are different kinds of weeds, they have to be addressed in a different way. So the problem like Ganesh has is, he's planting the rose is great, but he must know that there are some other people who understand the weeds and understand the insects and the pests and all the different people who come and destroy the crop. And so they have to also be brought in to do their job and work together. So this teamwork of different kind of specialists is needed. And I like this idea of minimum common issue, minimum common framework. I have in fact proposed that we ought to have a minimum common standard, a minimum like an ISO standard. What are the checklist of things that everybody should accept in order to join this loose network, and then they can be very diverse, they can do whatever they want. Like in Christianity, they have the Nicene Creed. The Nicene Creed says that there is one God, they had only one son, and there was this original sin, everybody is condemned to go to hell, and this one son comes and he had this, he was sacrificed on your behalf, then he resurrected, and now you can be saved only through him. This is a nutshell of the core doctrine. Every church must accept that, and in many rituals they read it out loudly in the church. So other than that, there are many denominations, they can do all kind of things. You know, some are pro this, some are anti that, they fight each other, but there's a certain minimum common understanding they have called the Nicene Creed. Muslims have a minimum common understanding of their tenets. So, and there are many groups fighting each other. So we need a loose architecture, an open architecture that allows a lot of flexibility, but we need certain tenets and certain principles of compliance that all of us should adhere to. So that is a challenge that has to be developed. I have proposed it many times. And this minimum common should not be just philosophical, religious type of ideas, but also taking on the Kurukshetra. It should include what is our responsibility in the Kurukshetra. And it should say very clearly, you cannot on the one hand be saying I'm a great bhakt and I'm a great person in my dharma, and at the same time funding the wrong people. You can't do that. But that tendency or that weakness is there among our people. because we like to see MIT should have a building with my name on it. You know, that kind of a thing. We want to see that. I guess inferiority complex. Yes, that is correct. That is well said.
That
Well said.
brings us to the
Yes, yes. Because of inferiority complex. Yeah. Yeah. This business of so that now I've got to go up the ladder into a high class. I got to get a seat at the table in the high class and buy my way at the table, even though they may make even though it's just money and they know that otherwise I'm nobody.